The first light of dawn spread across the small village of Marula, painting the sky in soft shades of pink and gold. Birds chirped. Farmers stirred in their fields, and a gentle breeze carried the smell of fresh earth. Among the fields stood Elias Niroj, a man in his early 30s, with weathered hands, a strong back, and eyes that reflected both hardship and hope. Elias was a farmer, just like his father had been before him, and his father's father before that. For generations, his family had worked the land, but unlike most farmers, Elias had a dream beyond the fields. He dreamed of cultivating a rare crop that no one in the village had ever successfully grown before. Golden saffron. The plant promised wealth, but it required something very few people had. Patience. Most villagers laughed when Elias announced his plan. "Elias," one neighbor said, shaking his head. "Saffron. In this soil, it will never work." Another added, "You'll waste your money and your time. Stick to what you know." But Elias was determined. He had read about saffron's high value and its delicate growth requirements. He had studied irrigation methods, soil conditions, and harvesting techniques. Still, the biggest challenge was time. The saffron bulbs would take months to grow, no immediate reward. And in a village where farmers relied on fast harvests for survival, it was a risk few would take. Elias invested the little savings he had. He bought the bulbs, prepared the soil meticulously, and planted them carefully. Then he waited. Weeks passed. Nothing happened. Villagers mocked him. "Look at Elias," they said. "His land lies empty, and his pockets are empty too." But Elias stayed calm. He watered the soil every day. He protected the crops from pests. He measured moisture levels, adjusted sunlight, and nurtured every bulb with care. And still, nothing. By the third month, some villagers grew impatient and came to Elias. "Why do you waste your time?" one asked. Elias smiled gently. "Patience," he said. They shook their heads. "Patience doesn't fill your stomach," another said. Elias didn't argue. He simply kept working. Elias began to feel the weight of doubt too. Some days, he questioned himself. What if they're right? What if I fail? But every morning, when he looked at the neat rows of soil, he remembered something his father once told him. Good things take time. The earth will reward those who wait. He remembered those words as he watered the fields. Months passed. Rain came. Sun sown. Sun sown. Nights grew cold. And slowly, tiny green shoots began to emerge from the soil. By the 6th month, the first saffron flowers bloomed. Each flower must be plucked individually. Each stigmatha pot used for saffron must be dried carefully. One mistake could ruin the crop. Elias spent hours every day carefully collecting the saffron threads. Villagers came to watch, astonished. "That man, he actually did it," they whispered. When the harvest was complete, Elias measured the yield. The value was far more than anyone had expected. He could finally repay his debts and still have enough to expand his farm. Over the next year, Elias continued to cultivate saffron. Word spread beyond the village. Traders came from distant towns to buy his product. He invested the profits wisely, bought more land, hired workers, and even started teaching other villagers how to grow saffron. The man who had once been mocked for waiting had become a pillar of the community. And the villagers who laughed at him first, many approached Elias humbly, seeking advice and guidance. Elias always welcomed them. "Patience," he would tell them with a smile. "It doesn't mean doing nothing. It means working carefully and waiting for the right moment." Years later, Elias reflected on his journey. He had learned something powerful. Patience is not simply waiting. Patience is preparing, working, and believing even when results are invisible. Success often comes to those who can endure challenges, resist shortcuts, and continue when others give up. His life, once full of doubt and struggle, had transformed. He had turned tiny bulbs into a thriving business, a respected reputation, and a legacy for his children. And all of it began with a single choice: to wait, work, and trust the process. Life is rarely instant, Opportunities often take time to grow. Wealth, wisdom, and success do not appear overnight. But if you plant the seeds carefully, nurture them patiently, and resist the urge to give up, the results can be extraordinary. The power of patience is more than enduring it, is believing in what your hard work can become tomorrow.